Hello folks and welcome to the EV Lease Deals of the month for July 2023. We are starting this one off with the Vauxhall Corsa E. This is the 100 kilowatt ultimate 50 kilowatt hour automatic. As you would expect, it's an EV. We're using our same lease profile as we always do in all these. So that's 3 months up front, 3-year deals based on 10,000 miles a year. The Corsa E, it's a £36,500 car. I just want to put that out there. If you want to go and buy one of these new, 36.5 grand. 859 up front and 286 a month. That one's in stock, by the way. That will go very quickly. The Corsa is one of the most popular cars in the UK. Let's look at the numbers on it before I go any further. 222 miles of range, 136 horsepower, 267 litres of boot space. Insurance group 25, which is quite high for such a small car, but then it is an EV. 0 to 62 in 7.6 seconds. Now, despite that looking decent value on a 36.5 grand car, it's not the most amazing price at the moment, but it's the best price we've seen it this year. £351 is actually the average for the car. This time last year it was 419. It was around about 350 a month for most of the year. Currently 286 a month. So it's about 60 quid less than the sort of average for the last 12 months. As I said, it's in stock, and as I said, it will go quickly. Next, we've got the Ora Funky Cat, and we've seen this in quite a few videos lately, haven't we? 887 up front and 295 a month, 193 miles of range, 171 brake horsepower, 228 litres of boot space, insurance group 24, and once again, this is in stock. I've actually seen a few of these out in the wild now. Prior to about a month ago, the only place I'd seen them was at car shows, and I had one on my drive for a week. So, but they are starting to appear. 8.3 seconds to 62, that does. I've mentioned it before, but they're incredibly well spec'd and quite well screwed together. Quite surprising on a brand that you may or may not have heard of. But if you've seen any of the recent leasing videos, you'll know that the deals on these at the moment are just breathtaking. This time last year, 556 a month. At its peak in October, £604 a month. And as you can see, even in January, it's 546, and then it dropped sort of the first tier. It went down to 446. And now look at this, the lowest price we've seen them all year, 295 a month with 867 up front. Next, we've got the VW ID3. The depreciation on these things, if you were to buy one, is horrendous at the moment. So leasing it is a good way to go if you can find yourself a good deal. And this is a good deal. £1,000 up front, 351 a month. 265 miles of range, 204 horsepower, insurance group 27, and 385 litres of boot space. 0 to 62 time of 7.3 seconds, which feels quite quick in one of those, I must admit. 488 quid has been the average price over the last year. Back in July last year, 508 a month, 606 a month. February, 634 a month. And this is the lowest leasing price we've seen on an ID3 in the UK to date. 1,054 up front and £351 a month. That is a good deal. It's in stock, so you can get your hands on one quickly. I think that's going to work out roughly around 13 grand to have that car for 3 years. Obviously, you haven't got to pay any road tax or anything, road fund licence, vehicle excise duty, whatever else you might want to call it. Obviously, you're not going to have to MOT it. It's under warranty if anything goes wrong with it. So it seems like a fairly safe bet, around about 13 grand. If you were to buy one with cash at the moment and sell it in 3 years, my prediction is that you would end up about 17, 18 grand lighter as a result. So I think actually leasing an ID3 is a much better idea than buying one at the moment. But I'm not a financial advisor, and don't take any financial advice from me. Whilst we're on that subject, I've just recently launched a video saying I'm doing a new service available on my website, notaguru.co.uk. If people want to chat to me about anything car related, you can go on there and book a half an hour or an hour with me. You do have to pay, I do have to make a living, but some people want to chat about all manner of different things. And if you want to, the option is now available. Next, we've got the Mazda MX30, 107 kilowatt exclusive line, 35 kilowatt hour, 1,134 upfront and 378 a month. That's 124 miles of range, which seems a little bit light in this day and age. 145 brake horsepower, insurance group 19, 350 litres of boot space, and 9.7 seconds to 62. As you can see, the price on these just has sort of risen over the past 12 months, which is unlike quite a lot of its rivals. Started off at 445 back in July, and then around about March, April time, look, 490 quid there in April, 490 in May, 506 in July, just come down to 378 with 1134 a month up front. I think there are better options of cars to go for in this video, I have to say. With 124 miles of range, that's really only looking after a very, very specific audience. So I don't think that's the best value for money, but if you're looking at a lease deal, that's the best value lease deal we've seen on this car to date. Next, we've got the Renault Megane E-Tech. I recently spent about 15-20 minutes in one of these and quite enjoyed it. EV60 Techno 60 kilowatt hour optimum charge, 1245 up front and 415 a month. This one's in stock. Factory order on it is about 25 quid a month more. 0 to 62 in 7.5 seconds, insurance group 27, 440 litres of boot space, 280 miles of range, which is decent range at this price point, and 217 brake horsepower. This time last year, 560 quid a month. August last year, 623 a month. December, 613. And this, again, is the lowest price we've seen one today. £518 has been the average on the car over the last 12 months. Currently $415 with 1,245 up front. Next, we've got the old favourite, the Hyundai Ionic 5, 125 kilowatt premium, 58 kilowatt hour, 240 miles of range, 170 horsepower, insurance group 29, 527 litres of boot space, 1,453 up front and 484 a month, and it's in stock. Very good news, because if you're ordering a new Hyundai at the minute, the wait is reasonably long. 8.5 seconds to 62 on this one. Look at this. Back in July last year, 535, 590, November 636, January 660. It did come down a bit here. Look, May, June time, you could get one for under 500 quid a month for the first time. Currently 484 a month with 1453 up front. Literally one of the very best EVs available in the UK today. Full stop. And another car that you could explain in the same way is the Polestar II. It's a brilliant piece of kit. 170 kilowatts, 69 kilowatt hour standard range SM Pilot edition, 1,613 up front and 537 a month. That gives you 297 miles of range, 231 brake horsepower, insurance group 34 and 405 litres of boot space. 0 to 62, 7.4 seconds. Feels quicker though. Honestly, it really does feel quicker than that. Average price on it's been £597. This time last year, 589. At its peak in March, 666 quid a month. And in May, 632. And then it's just come down since May and has been floating around the current price ever since. So 613 up front and 537 a month. That gets you an EV that's certainly in my top 5. By the way, my link to LeaseLoco is in the video description and pinned as a top comment. Please use it. I can't make these videos if you don't. So please just click through that link so they know I sent you. Thanks. Next, we've got the Tesla Model Y. The price has gone up on these, all right, but I'm just showing you that I don't talk a load of drivel when I tell you that you need to get on one because the price is going to go up. 1,720 up front at the moment and 573 a month. It's a good price. You know, this is still a brilliant value car, I think. I think it's probably the best all-round package if you've got a family or you regularly carry sort of larger loads. It's just a good all-round package. 6.6 seconds to 62 as well, so it's not going to leave you hanging around. But the average price has been 637 over the last year. You'll see just a couple of months ago, it's 521. And at that time, I think I was urging people to jump on the deal because it was fantastic. And unfortunately, those deals have gone away and we're back at 573. 573 is still a good 50 quid under the average for the year. But obviously, we're not breathing that sort of rarefied air of almost 500 quid a month. Again, we are now a step above. Still a brilliant car and not bad value at that price.
This video is sponsored by Car2 Cover, the gap insurance experts. Visit their website for an instant online quotation and use the code JIM10 to get £10 off your purchase.
Next, we've got the VW ID5, the 128 kilowatt style Pro, at 1,770 upfront and 590 a month. 549 litres of boot space, insurance group 27, 174 horsepower, 0 to 62 in 10.4. Loads of kit on this one. As you can see, there hasn't been too much volatility in the price, but certainly for a lot of the year, it's been well over £600 a month. In March there it was 707 a month. Average price on it, in fact, has been £647 a month. Currently 590 with 1770 up front. It is in stock as well. Factory order, you can see, is £1.90 a month more. But currently there is some stock. Again, it won't last forever, and a factory order will take a while. Next, we've got the Mustang Mackie, 198 kilowatt select 70 kilowatt hour rear wheel drive version, 1,890 up front and 630 a month, 273 miles of range, 269 brake horsepower, insurance group 37, and 0 to 62 time of 6.9 seconds. They're not quoting the boot space on this, but it's certainly got a decent sized boot on it. £788 has been the average price on one of these over the last year. Actually, since October, which is how far the records go back. In October, it was 950 quid a month. It then dropped down to 790 for a period, then dropped down to about 680 for a period. We're now the lowest price we've seen it this year, 1,890 up front and £630 a month. Then we've got the ever so lovely BMW i4 Grand Coupe. I'm yet to drive one of these, and I'm desperate to, because I love a 4 Series. I used to have one. 250 kilowatt eDrive 40 M Sport. This is 2,160 upfront and £720 a month. 351 miles of range, 340 brake horsepower, insurance group 36 and 470 litres of boot space. 0 to 62 on this one is 5.7 seconds, and we've been looking at an average price on it of 778 quid a month. Now, if you look at it in percentage terms, it's not a massive saving at the moment, but it is about as cheap as we've seen one. So you can see there, this time last year, nearly 800 quid a month. In December, 857 a month. In March, 824 a month. And then it dropped down to around about the 750 mark. Currently 2,160 upfront and £720 a month. Now, this video has been brought to you by Car2 Cover. I've mentioned them before in my videos, but they provide a myriad of little insurances that could be very useful to you if you're leasing a car, or if you're buying a new or used car, by the way, as well. So things like gap insurance, scratch and dent insurance, alloy wheel and tyre insurance, all those kind of things that people worry about when they're getting into a lease can be solved with a little bit of peace of mind that you can get from Car2 Cover. Go to car2cover.co.uk or give them a call on 01438 870 615. When you're on the phone, just quote Jim10 or tell them that Jim sent you, and they'll give you 10 quid off any policy. Now, I've looked at lots of these before in previous videos, but a typical gap insurance on a 30 grand car for 3 years on a lease, it's going to cost you about 150, 160 quid, unless you're going for a more sort of premium car, then it costs you a little bit more. And that gap insurance, in the right circumstances, could possibly save you thousands. I've done a separate video about it, which I'll link to at the end of this one. I hope you've enjoyed this video, folks. Please remember to use that link to LeaseLoco as well. Really appreciate everyone watching, and I really appreciate those that give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe. So thanks again, and I'll see you soon.